Hey, good afternoon and welcome to the Jump Seat. Glad to be back here with you all again. It's hard to believe it's been another 2 weeks. For those of you who may in fact be joining us for the very first time, I want to say welcome. For you, those who don't know, the Jump Seat is a regular spotlight bringing you key industry thought leaders, subject matter experts, and really next generation insight into those things affecting your fire departments around the country and around the world. It's hosted by myself, David Durstein. I'm a volunteer firefighter myself, been through the ringer as a paid firefighter and a part-timer there. And really, the Jump Seat's gauged to bring you that insight and in-look into new, I would say, things impacting the fire service, as well as reflecting on the 200 years of tradition that we're based upon in the fire service as a whole. So welcome to the Jump Seat. We got a great show for you here today, and we're going to talk about training and training opportunities that are coming towards you. But really, before I jump into that, a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks in the fire service. And you really think about really in the last 48 hours, some of the craziness in Miami. And so I really want to take a minute and just recognize the folks of Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue for their response to this really tragic collapse that happened down there in their territory. It's an amazing to see some of the video. Obviously today, having access to some of the news feeds and some of the information almost instantaneously really puts it into perspective for a lot of those folks watching, I'll say, in the common public, but also the reality from a first responder perspective. And what would you do if that happened in your area or in your territory? And so I think today's show and looking at opportunities to train and opportunities to get with some of the best in the industry is really kind of a key piece of how you can be prepared and how you can prep for those unforeseen incidences as we're seeing right now unfold in Miami. So my hat's off to all those involved, and my heart goes out to all those impacted, those families that were devastated by the happenings there as well. So keep up the good work down there in Miami and Miami-Dade, and we're praying for all your safety, but you can save as many lives as possible there as well. I also take these opportunities usually on a regular basis to share some news within the fire service industry, and actually today is no different than any other. I'm actually going to share my screen here really quick, and I want to give a shout out to my friends up north at Fort Garry Fire Apparatus. Those of you who have been regular followers of the Jump Seat will probably remember we actually did a tour of Fort Garry and walk around to one of their trucks. One of our first episodes when we started this over a year ago now in our first season. So Brian Nash and the team at Fort Garry gave us a good tour of one of their trucks that was a demo last year. And ironically, this is their brand new demo. It happens to be a SAM demo, which those of you who follow know I love our SAM demos and the SAM opportunities actually out there. This is a really unique design and one you don't see every day with an enclosed top mount. And they've got their SAM controls right there inside that top mount enclosure for those cold weather conditions up there in Canada. So I do know this truck is hitting the streets here, going to be doing a demo circuit. So if you want more information, jump out and visit the guys at Fort Garry Fire Trucks, or reach out to them directly. They'd love to come out and share that with them. And no, they're not a sponsor, but they do have my SAM system that we absolutely love, and I think it's going to make a big impact to many of those departments actually out there. So Brian Nash, you guys at Fort Garry, keep up the great work. Thanks for your support, and I look forward to seeing that truck on the streets here in the very near future. With that being said, I mentioned we've got a great show today. I've got a good friend of mine as a guest who I'm honored to actually have on the show. And so I think without further ado, I'm gonna bring him right on here now. So Eric Schlett from FDIC International, welcome to the Jump Seat. How are you?
Thanks, Dave. I'm doing well. And, before we get started, it's a poignant time, right, for us to think about the tragedy of what's happened with the condo collapse. And our hearts go out to those that have lost their lives there, and keeping, positive thinking that hopefully they can get some rescues there. And naturally for the first responders, firefighters that are there doing the great work that they are. So God bless them, and please keep an eye and keep them in your thoughts and prayers, please.
No, absolutely. And, I look at that whole incident, and I really have multiple thoughts that hit that. One is, the firefighter side of me. The other one's just the personal humanitarian side of me. But really, what a great job Miami-Dade has been doing down there. I don't know if you've been following it all, Eric, but I think that's a big piece. And I don't know how many of those. Do you have some Miami-Dade instructors that teach?
Yeah, we do. We have several. We have a really strong cadre of writers, instructors at FDIC, folks that are teach for us to webcast. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of material out of this that's going to be important for us to learn. What we do is lessons learned, Dave. It's for firefighters by firefighters, right? And that's really where we hang our hat or our helmet, if you will, making sure that we're trying to save lives, right? We want to train folks so they can train others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I told you, Eric, hey, we might get comments that come in from here. And I want to just give a shout out here really quick to Jason from Canada. Hey, Jason DeFossi. And he is pumped because he said he's actually coming to FDIC in August. So we love having this Canadian brother. And I think we're going to mention that here a little bit later in the show as well. So, yeah. Jason, we love that you're on here, and we can't wait to see you in person there.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, make sure you stop by my office, and say hello. We love our Canadian cousins who come down, and we're looking forward, and we're really happy that we're here, and the border is going to be really opening up for more and more of our Canadian members who have traditionally come to be down here with us. So the timing is just right.
Absolutely. So those of you who are just joining us here, I'm with Eric Schlett. He's the Senior VP with Clarion Events and FDIC International. And Eric, FDIC is right around the corner here for us. But tell us a little bit about FDIC. Where does it come from, and what is the goal of FDIC?
So FDIC is a 90-year-old event, right? And it really started out in a field in Ohio where some of the manufacturers got together to teach firefighters how to use their equipment. And for the last 21 years, I've been, blessed with the responsibility of carrying that mission forward, and hopefully we'll be doing it for a lot more years. And it's grown substantially, right? What our business is about is training firefighters so that they can learn lessons from their fellow firefighters, instructors, so that they can then take that knowledge that they gain back at FDIC and bring it back to their departments to help others. It's the typical stuff that's important to us, preserving their own lives so they can get home at the end of their shift, taking care of their brother and sister firefighters, and protecting the property and the communities that they serve. So, and that all sounds good and well, but, we take it to a different level, Dave, with our hands-on training. We invest significantly in that and making sure that we're bringing real-life fire situations and fire ground operations so that we can train folks in the best practices. And between that, the workshops, and then, the in-room classes, that's great in and of itself. And then you bring in, typically we have 800 booths at FDIC or vendors that are there showing their wares and teaching firefighters about their product in over 800,000 square feet of space. This year we expect that to be more like 680 to 700 vendors. So, it will be a little different. This year's an anomaly, but, it's a substantial amount of product that's being showed in the classrooms. We're doing the same thing we've always done, 200 plus classrooms.
Wow. Well, 200 plus classrooms. First off, I don't know of any other training event where you got 200 plus classrooms and classes going on. Eric, what are some of those maybe key trainings? Like if I'm attending for the very first time, or I'm thinking about coming, what would you say are the don't miss classes that you gotta be at?
There's so many of them. It would really be an injustice for me to just name a few. And I think a lot of times the way fire departments, tackle this is maybe there's 4 members coming from their department, and with classes starting, with hands-on training on Monday and Tuesday, we have about 20 to 25 sessions of those. So they'll split those up into 4-hour evolutions. We used to do structural collapse. It's something that we haven't done recently, but a brand new one that we really like is extrication from routine to complex. Heavy vehicle extrication is another. Active shooter sadly it seems to be an important issue. And we get these things from the firefighters themselves based on what they're handling and what they're seeing. Another class is man versus machinery. It's a really great class, and that's led by Captain Gregory out of FDNY. Is another terrific class. But then you'll get your standard and ordinary in classroom stuff, which could be ordinary construction hazards, or busting through recruitment and retention to deal with those things. So we cover a cadre of stuff, and I think when departments come with 4 members, they're going to split that up. There's no track that we're on. You go to the classes that you choose, and it's one of the reasons why we get repeat people coming back every year, because there's just so much knowledge taught there. And Dave, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, I think part of the thing is the networking and just talking to one another, brother or sister firefighter, on what's happening in their department and the things that they're facing. And you're learning hard all day long, and then you're relaxing a little bit, maybe with a cocktail, maybe over a dinner or coffee, but the learning continues throughout the week, and that's the beauty of FDIC.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's that that chance to interact, that chance to share intelligence and meet new people that now you can tap into in the future, because you've built that relationship and friendship from those training events. And to me, in my 20 years of being around the industry and being at FDIC, those are some of the most valuable pieces of the puzzle for me, because I can pick up the phone and call a friend from the West Coast. I could pick up the phone and call somebody from FDNY or anywhere around the world even, and find out, hey, we talked about this one time. What is it that you guys did? How did you do that? What were those cautions you gave me, right? And so I think to me that's a great benefit, and something that is invaluable, other than just the training that you get from getting your hands dirty on a regular basis. So Eric, when you think about it too, I heard you mention, hey, there's a lot of hands-on for the firefighter. You mentioned a little bit about maybe some for the officers. Who should actually attend? Is it really geared for officers? Is it really geared for the firefighter alone?
So it's different, Dave, right? We want to train firefighters, right? So probably if you're a probationary firefighter, you have to have some basic stuff, and you're going to need to go to your chief or your officer level folks to get permission to come and participate in the hands-on training. But a lot of what we do is kind of think about the person responsible for training, right? And because in the United States and Canada, around the world, training officer might mean different things, right? You may be a captain, you may be a lieutenant, but if you're somehow involved in training and educating your team, you want to be here, right? Because you're going to get the cutting edge stuff that you need to bring back to your department so that they can, have this knowledge and be able to do the best job that they can, for themselves and for their department membership. But it's not exclusively for the instructor, right? We definitely have management classes there. Officer level leadership classes are taught by, guys like Rick Lasky, who does an outstanding job. I think people stand in line sometimes to just hobnob with a guy like Bobby Halton, and we're blessed to have him as the leader of our content, right? he and I have been working together for nearly 15 years on this event, and he's legendary because he's a straight shooter, but he doesn't just talk the talk. That man has walked the walk. The things that he's been involved in as a firefighter and fire chief are remarkable. Plus, when he doesn't know something, he knows where to go to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby's just incredible. I love the man. And actually, I don't know if you know it, he actually joined us here in the jump seat back on 9/11. So I reached out to him for that because I couldn't think of a better person to sit here on that crazy day to come live to the fire service other than Bobby. And so, love the guy, and I appreciate my friendship with him, but also his willingness to just jump on and really give words of encouragement, as well as be that straight shooter and voice of the fire service that he is. So hats off to Bobby and your team there.
I'll give you a little background. I'm sure you have a good relationship with Bobby, as do I, right? But Bobby's never turned down an interview. Anytime Bobby wants to be in front of the camera, that guy, he loves the camera and the camera loves him.
Oh, man, I tell you what, Bobby's one of those guys you can talk to all afternoon. But enough about Bobby. Let's go back to FDIC here really quick. And so, obviously, unfortunately, FDIC got canceled last year in 2020 with all the craziness of the COVID pandemic and really some of that continuing on to delaying this year. What can we expect? What can those firefighters come into FDIC already, or those who are on the fence? What can they expect, Eric?
So it's going to be the traditional FDIC. It's obviously at a different time of year. They've just kind of going through the steps. We missed last year, and we were going to try to do something in September. It was going to be something different and a little bit pared down. But because the pandemic raged on September of last year, we couldn't wind up doing that. So we put our focus and attention onto April of this current year. And then when the pandemic continued to rage on, we just felt it was the right thing to do, the most responsible thing to do. We're in the life safety business, not to push that envelope. We actually got quite a bit of feedback from the fire service, firefighters, I should say, right? Who were pretty disappointed in our option not to do it because they need the training. They want the training. And they felt like we're out there every day in the pandemic and we're fighting this. And if we need to learn, we need you guys to put this on. Anyway, we still thought the right course of action was to push it off. We've been working with healthcare and medical direction throughout this thing to give us, the best advice. And they said, as late in the summer, we feel pretty confident that it'll be okay based on the trajectory of the vaccinations and the waning of the virus here in the States. So that was kind of the advice. So we looked at August and at one point we had it later in August. Then the pattern came in well for us to be, that August 2nd through the 7th. It's the traditional pattern, the Monday through the Saturday, and it just made a lot of sense. So what I can tell you is what to expect. You can expect everything that you traditionally get at FDIC. We'll be doing the typical special events, the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation Stair Climb, which Pierce, is a gracious sponsor of that, and that's a really important event. The Fools Brotherhood Bash on the Wednesday night. The Firefighters for Cancer are going to be there. So also the Indianapolis Fire Union Night on Friday night. So all of that great stuff is going to continue to happen, as well as, like I said, all of that education. And I'll be honest with you, so I'm still waiting for our report from this week, which I will tell you, I had said on another vendor's podcast that, we'd like to be, about 15,000 to 16,000 before we get on show site. Traditionally, we're probably anywhere between 22 to 24,000 pre-registered attendees. As of last Friday, we were already over 15,000 pre-registered attendees. So that's telling me that based on our traditional walk-up of 8 to 12,000 folks, And those are people who are coming in for a day, maybe 2 days, just to kind of look at the products and stuff on the show floor, not necessarily taking the hands-on training. That's, I can see us being north of 20, somewhere between 20 and 22,000, which I've been saying all along. And that's consistent with what the message we've heard from the firefighters themselves.
Well, I tell you what, as a vendor or manufacturer, I look forward to that. But I think, from a training aspect, having it available from, where it hasn't been, regular training has not been available, even at the state and local regional level. So I think having that opportunity really gives people a chance to want to get out and get their hands on it and continue that educational piece. I think it's important in the fire service every day. I think you could probably relate, Eric, is that it's always changing. Everything is different. You got to continue learning. And, I find no better place to do it right now than FDIC. And so I think if you're watching and you were on the fence, I would say get out and register. And so, Eric, with that, are there spots still available? I'm assuming there are.
Oh, yeah. So other than the hands-on training, right, everything for us is open. We don't run tracks where you have to register for a specific class, only for hands-on training. But a lot of our hands-on training classes are nearly sold out. But when we have those types of situations, we may recommend a different class that has some of the same skill sets or whatnot. So our team is, ready to work with folks. So what we're most excited about, and this is kind of unique because, we're usually dealing with, north of 33,000 firefighters, 36,000. Well, the 22,000 firefighters that we're expecting for this year, those are folks that not only want to be there, they need to be there, and we're excited to give them the education that they're craving. And if they're coming to see product, there's a reason they're coming to see product. It's not just on a whim. There's a real purpose to them doing it. And I'll tell you what, I've always felt very strongly about our brand because of what we do and the high quality we do it at. And also the men and women that we're serving to do this. We feel it's an extremely important responsibility. So when they're saying we're coming and that's what the numbers are showing, we're glad to give them whatever we can.
Jason DeFosse just threw a comment out there again, and I love it, Jason. For those of you who are all watching right now, I can see you all live. Feel free, if you have questions about FDIC for Mr. Schlett, fire away in the comments field. They do pop up, but Jason hit the nail on the head there. Failing to train is training to fail. And so there's no other opportunity like that out here. And Jason, I know you even threw another one in there that said, hey, it's the Super Bowl for instructors, and that he's proud to have taught there. So Jason, I know they're looking forward to having you back in Indy. We're looking forward to having Canadians across the border here in the very near future as well. And so when you look at those folks who are planning to attend, how many, what's the international status? I know in the past you've had a fair number of folks from Canada and from other places around the world. What's that hold for them this year, Eric?
So it really depends on what the State Department is allowing, right? So there are certain parts of the region that right now travel is restricted. So some of the folks that we get folks from all over the world. The vast majority of our attendance comes from the U.S. and Canada though. But you do get from South America, from Europe, from Southeast Asia, quite a few actually. So, and even the Middle East. So we've been getting, and that's been a growing part of our audience. And what's great about it is they're coming here not just to see product, they're coming here for training and they're going to see the product, right? Because they want to use what the industry considers the best. And a lot of the world looks at what we're doing here in North America as the standard bearer for how to fight fires and the equipment that we use. So I think that's hats off to, the instructor team who are, firefighters from, United States and Canada primarily. I mean, they do an amazing job.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm looking forward to seeing them. Hopefully, we do get the Canadian borders. We can get more of the Canadian brothers down across the border there, and Joey Hayes,
Canadian sisters, Dave. Don't forget,
and the sisters as well. Absolutely. And Joey, thanks for the comments there as well. Thanks for following us, and keep them coming. Keep them coming there. So, Eric, let's say I am already registered, or I'm coming for the first time and I haven't registered yet, but after today's episode, I'm registering. How can I make the most of my FDIC experience? If I'm coming in there relatively new, I don't know what I'm really getting into. How can I make the most of it?
Of course, go to the FDIC.com app.
Oh, there's an app, huh?
No, so I always think, plan your work and then work your plan, right? Anything. This is a big event. There's a lot to see and a lot to cover. So I would go online and I would look at the classes and try to outline where and when you want to plan to go to a specific thing. So if you went to the attend, Dave, you're probably not going to be able to see the classes on there unless you're registered. But once you're registered, you will see the times of the classes, right? And that's going to help folks plan what they're going to do on Monday, what they're going to do on Tuesday. The main program is huge, and it's it's such a heartfelt, great keynote speech. And Bobby gives his typical fire and brimstone, fireside, hoorah, charge them up type of speech, and then turns it over to a keynote. And then it's all about learning. And as most of the folks who are listening who are firefighters will know, this is a lifestyle for us, right? This is what we do. We wake up, we're firefighters. That's what we are. Hey, listen, I'm a former volunteer. I still consider myself part of this great family. But I don't do what you guys do each and every day. And, I'm gobstopped by the things that you guys do. And I'm just really happy to be a little part of what we do to help you all to be the best firefighters and fire instructors you can be. So it's an amazing thing to be part of. So I would say you plan that, and then I would also go and look at the show floor. And whether you do that on the app or the website, circle the booths that you really want to see, that you feel like you need to go and get product, and plan it, because with over 800,000 square feet, that's in 2 buildings and partly outside. It's a lot of space to cover. So plan your mission and maybe take a water break in between.
Absolutely. And, Joey said, hey, reach out to some of those equipment distributors or vendors in your area. They may have stuff going on. I know we want to see everybody come by the IDEX Fire and Safety booth for some hands-on demonstrations, as well as a chance to see some, Hirsch Jaws of Life in action there as well. I can't help but not give a little plug for us there, Eric.
Now, listen, you guys have a great product, and you guys do amazing stuff. Our demo area is becoming bigger and bigger too, Dave, every year. More and more folks. And you do some of your demos right in your booth. But, I think, and part of what the hands-on training experience is, you're actually touching, feeling, using tools, that you're going to use every day in a real-life situation. So there's nothing like that hands-on event, hands-on training at booths in the demo area where you can actually look, feel, and touch the products. It's a great thing. And then the firefighters typically stand around and talk about what they like, what they didn't like. They're talking to your engineers, and you guys are learning, and the firefighters are learning. And that's what this is all about, man. That is what it's all about.
Well, Eric, I want to say thank you for joining us today. The show's coming here to an end, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share, what we can expect this year at FDIC. And, John Costello, I have to say the exact same thing. It sounds exciting, and I hope to see you there, John. You've been a great follower of the show, and we love seeing you each and every week. And maybe we can actually meet in person there at FDIC. But
hey, Dave, just before we go, because I know you're trying to wrap it up, but
yeah.
I I'd be remiss if I didn't get a chance to thank you. But I also want to say, because I know some folks have asked, what's the protocols and whatnot. We're following CDC guidelines for anybody that is concerned. If you're fully vaccinated, no mask required. If you're not, it's recommended that you wear your mask. We're not going to stand at the door and ask you to provide an ID or some sort of situation where you're going to present proof that you've been vaccinated. We're all professionals. We're firefighters. We save lives. You're on the honor system for that. And be smart. If you're not vaccinated, wear your mask. No one's going to pass judgment. And if you are vaccinated, feel free to remove your mask and go about your business. And David, I want to really thank you for the opportunity to do this. You've known me for a long time, and I love you for inviting me here, and for being such a great friend through the years. But this is my passion. I love doing this, and I'm so excited to get back at it. And that's what I'm hearing from the fire community. Let's do this. Let's kick this off. We have to start it sometime. Let's do it now. So we're going to do it in August, and we're going to have a hell of a good time.
So, Eric, what I'm hearing is the place to be in the entire world the first week of August is Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Convention Center for FDIC International, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, thank you again for joining. I really appreciate it. Hang on there. I'll be right back with you in a minute, but I want to put a wrap to the show here today. Thanks again, Eric. Hey, if this is your first time to the Jump Seat, we're actually going to be back here again on July 9th. So we're taking a little break here for the 4th of July holiday and for Canada Day. For those of you up in Canada, I think that's coming up here as well. I hope you guys all have a great holiday. Don't miss us. We got an awesome, great show on the 9th of July. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm going to be hitting the streets, and we're going to do a field event live from Texas A&M at the Teeks Industrial Fire School. You won't want to miss it. And another great training opportunity that's actually out there. And I'll be live in person, followed up after that at FDIC. So we've got a whole great lineup of shows here over the next several weeks. I hope you don't miss it. Like always, thanks for tuning in. I would ask that you find us and share us through Facebook and YouTube, the IDEX Fire and Safety blog. We also want to hear your ideas. You know what? I get the ideas for the show based upon you, similar to how they do the training at FDIC. So we love hearing your ideas and suggestions. Please feel free to email me, comment them here in the comments. We do follow up and get back with you with all of your comments when questions are in fact asked. With that, thank you all very, very much for being here today. I can't wait to see you guys in 2 weeks again here on the Jump Seat.